BioWare was once one of the greatest video game companies of all time, creating amazing adventures from Jade Empire to Knights of the Old Republic, but all that talent and expertise culminated into what is considered BioWare's greatest RPG put forth, Dragon Age Origins. This game set the bar for what an RPG should be, at the time when RPGs were everywhere. And with this new gold standard, people could not wait for the next adventure from this legendary company. But unbeknownst to us, something terrible was about to happen. Because in the year of 2011, BioWare released the greatest atrocity the company had ever created. A game so vile that many dare not to even speak of it today. Dragon Age 2. The Dragon Age that ruined Dragon Age. When Dragon Age 2 was released, it was immediately hated and ostracized by fans, and rightly so. But there was one group of people that did not hate this game. This group, in fact, loved this game. And that group was the video game journalists, with one of them even going as far as to say Dragon Age 2 is the best game in BioWare's fantasy role-playing franchise. Now that's a strong claim. I mean, even if you like this game, that's probably still a bit of a stretch. But after looking at all these 9 out of 10 reviews, I couldn't help but wonder, what if they were right? Maybe I didn't give this game enough credit. Maybe this game isn't as bad as I remember. Maybe, just maybe, it's actually good. And after playing through the entire game, as it turns out, I was right the first time. This game is crap. Right off the bat, the game begins by doing the one thing I hate the most in storytelling.
Do you have any idea what's at stake here?
Let me guess. Your precious chantries fall into pieces and put the entire world on the brink of war. And you need the one person who could help you put it back together.
That's right, undeserved praise. I've called it out in other video games, and I'm not about to ignore it here. I mean, seriously, the game hasn't even started, and we're already the only person who can save the day. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this type of storytelling can actually be used in a good way, but this game definitely does not. Because first, Dragon Age 2 establishes that we are the champion, and then it tells us the story of how we got there, which means any suspense the story might have had is taken away because we know where the story's gonna end up. Now, it appears that this problem is something that the writers of Dragon Age 2 were aware of, because to make up for it, they tried to make everything more mysterious than it really was. For example, in this scene where the main characters head into some dwarven tunnels, and the storyteller Varric says this.
Well, we entered the deep roads as planned, but we didn't get very far.
Now from that statement, you're expecting something pretty important, right? Well, you would be wrong, because all that happens is we fight a bunch of generic bad guys and run around some dwarven ruins for half an hour. Wow. I'm glad we did that. By the way, this kind of storytelling happens through the entire game. Literally every single side quest is like this. You go up to some poor grandma, she's all, hey, I've lost my son or something, and maybe there's a darker mystery going on. And then you go kill a bunch of thugs, and then you do or do not find her son, and then she's like, thanks. And you're like, yeah, but what about the whole mystery you were talking about? But that mystery never gets addressed because who cares? This game isn't interested in solving any mysteries, it's only interested in establishing them in a vain attempt to try and keep us engaged. And boy, does it not work. I'm not engaged. And while we're on the topic of storylines, I should probably mention that the conversation options have now been simplified, which means instead of having a bunch of diverse things to say, we now only have the options to either be a douchebag, be an idiot, or be way too nice. I mean, why is there no middle ground? What if I want to be a regular person? There's no option for that. What's even worse though is usually what the character actually says and what you think he's gonna say are two totally different things. Like when trying to decide if I should help someone and I have the option to ask, what do you need? Seems like a reasonable question.
I'm always ready to help.
Well, what do you know? That's not what I asked at all. I'm really glad that no matter what I choose, it's not gonna be what I wanted anyway. God, this game is so stupid! Now, as bad as this game is, it gets even worse because Dragon Age 2 has a constant need to remind us of how cool and fun the first game was. You'll be minding your own business when all of a sudden they'll be like, hey, remember that awesome thing you did in the first game? I bet you wish you were doing that instead. And I'm like, yeah, I do wish that. As a matter of fact, I wish I was doing literally anything else aside from playing this garbage. Oh, and speaking of alluding to the first game, apparently King Alistair has traveled all the way across the sea to speak to me. I bet he has something really important to say.
Do you really think there's something I can do?
What you can do is protect Kirkwall. It will take someone like you to keep it from falling apart.
I'm the champion. If there's a danger, I'll deal with it.
Well, that's comforting. Well, I suppose we should be getting back.
Wait, hold on a second. The king has come all this way just to tell me to do the thing I'm already doing? And then he just leaves? Why? I guess you could argue that King Alistair was here for something else and just so happened to become aware of the main character, but if that were the case, they should have just mentioned it. They should have made any attempt to flesh out this universe at all, but they didn't. And it's even more jarring because that was one of the things that made the first game so good. Every single quest in Origins felt like it was important and that it provided something that made the world feel bigger, but not a single quest in this game provides anything. They're all pointless. Why am I doing this crap? Okay, so I just realized I haven't said a single thing about the combat yet, so I guess we should talk about that. Okay, the combat is crap. For whatever reason, the developers at BioWare decided to take the tactical combat from the first game and combine it with the type of combat you might find in an action game. And it's terrible. Pretty much all you do is mash the attack button for the entire time, occasionally using a special move when the 20-second cooldown runs up. Also, BioWare decided to ramp up the amount of enemies on the battlefield at a time, so instead of dealing with just a couple of guys, you are always dealing with at least 10 people, no matter what the situation. And they decided to introduce waves of enemies, meaning after you've killed that 10 people, there's another 10 or 20 guys waiting to jump right in, which works great in a game like Dynasty Warriors, but in this game it sucks because it takes forever just to kill one guy, which means these extremely repetitive and boring battles last forever. And if you're hoping to get a break from these battles, well, you are out of luck because the second combat ends, there's another battle waiting just around the corner. There were moments where I almost fell asleep playing the game during combat. I'm not making that up. It's a never-ending slog, and it sucks. You know what? Let's just move on and get this game over with. I am sick of playing it.
Time to wrap up any business you have in the city, my friend. We'll be gone for several weeks at least. Let me know as soon as you're ready and we'll head out.
I am ready. Let's go.
Might be a good time to check back home. You'll be gone for a while after all.
Alright, fine, whatever. There, I did it. You happy now?
Time to wrap up any business you have in the city, my friend. We'll be gone for several weeks at least.
Right.
Oh my god, you've gotta be kidding me. Okay, there, I did that other quest. Can we move on with the game now?
Time to wrap up any business you have in the city, my friend. We'll be gone for several weeks at least.
I don't believe it. Seriously, you're gonna make me finish every goddamn quest in my journal before we can move on? Fuck this game. Alright, after hundreds of hours of never-ending, boring as hell combat, we have finally made it to the end. The part that we've all been waiting for. Because after all that crap, we can finally find out why this lady needed the champion in the first place. The real mystery of the game.
So that's it. That's the whole story.
Just tell me one thing, then. Is the champion dead?
Oh, I doubt that.
Then you are free to go, Varric. May the Maker watch over you during the dark times ahead of us.
What? Are you fucking kidding me? After all that, after hours of god-awful, boring gameplay, this game ends with nothing? No resolution whatsoever? We don't get to find out why she needed the champion? Fuck this game! And screw whoever was the moron at BioWare that thought this was somehow a good idea. Fuck! If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and check out my other videos on some god-awful video games. Or you can listen to me rant about Skyrim. I don't know. Or whatever floats your boat. Goodbye!